Hey everyone, did you notice Caitlin's face? On live air, Caitlin Clark fired her all-star coach, and she was like, "Nobody cares." Yo, that is hilarious, man. Man, I lost my mind when they said that. Between Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Talir, the WNBA All-Star Draft was entertaining. The team captains selecting the rosters and players. The coach shift, however, was the most intriguing feature. In front of millions, the same coach who reportedly assisted in keeping her off the Olympic team was humiliated. And the entire WNBA is in shock over how everything transpired. The group is hilarious. Furthermore, she exchanged her coach, her instructor. She was therefore originally intended to perform for Cheryl Reeve. You guys don't know who Cheryl Reeve is. She was the coach of Team USA. She basically said a lot of negative things about Caitlin Clark on social media after she had a negative review in Christine Brennan's book. She then deleted all the tweets and claimed that Chris never said them. She also claimed that the tweets never existed in the first place. In other words, she is now accusing Christine Brandon of lying. By the way, for what reason did Clark pull off the most vicious maneuver in All-Star history? What does it reveal about the current league's true leadership? When the WNBA declared that Nafisa Collier and Caitlin Clark would serve as captains for the All-Star game this year, this goes beyond the WNBA countdown. Unfortunately, this is the WNBA All-Star Draft for 2025. We will soon know which All-Stars will play for Team Clark and which will play for Team Collier in Indianapolis the following weekend. Player selections were the main focus of most fans. Who would take the lead? Who would be overlooked? What Clark accomplished in the midst of the live ESPN broadcast was unexpected. Clark traded her coach rather than players. To tell the truth, I adore my staff. I believe they're fantastic. Actually, I have no plans to trade any of them. I'm not sure if this is covered under the regulations. I don't give a damn. However, I believe we have already talked about trading coaches. It's going to take Sandy Brandello. Her coach, let's get it. It will be incredible. I apologize to the WNBA if that isn't a rule. We just made that a regulation. So I apologize to ESPN if it isn't already. Come on over, Sandy Brandello. Let's begin. Sabrina can be coached by you. Therefore, it's possible that Stewie might like to join my squad. Tell me, do you wish to give Stewie to me? Here, we have breaking news. In the All-Star game, I'm not sure if I've ever heard of a coach being traded. This is something you're consenting to. This deal has no conditions. Yes, exactly. The head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, Cheryl Reeve, who was initially tasked with leading Team Clark, was fired. In the first ever Colt swap of any All-Star game, Sandy Brandello of the New York Liberty replaced her. I would like to know what you think about that, Leo. First for you. You were traded, Dan Stu. Oh, I must go check that out. Exchanged? The teams are unknown to me. This is the second time in history. As a participant, and I was traded. Indeed. After hitting me up, my kid said, I've made history. This is fantastic. As you are aware, I was traded as a coach. However, notice that I get to coach within Indianapolis is Caitlin Clark's. What an amazing show, I must say. So, we're going to go out there and enjoy ourselves. However, this exchange wasn't made at random. It was a personal matter. And it all stems from the months-long conflict between Cheryl Reeve and Caitlin Clark. Reeve wasn't just any coach, you see. One of Clark's most outspoken detractors. She has publicly minimized her fame, disparaged Clark on social media, and remained mute when questioned about Clark's Olympic snub. Remember the Nafamos tweet? #12 teams. Even if you are the head coach of Team USA, #through has multiple players. Just as Clark was setting viewership records and carrying the league's ratings, it was pointed directly at her. She obviously never forgot, even though Clark didn't reply at the time. Clark therefore didn't think twice about selecting her all-star roster. Who made the trade request? Look, it wasn't even a request in my opinion. She's off my squad, guy. Oh man. I believe Caitlyn said, "Hey, get off, man. You know what? I don't care about any rules. Coaches and players can exchange. What is this? The NBA? Cease does that." Cease did to her squad what Reeves was going to do, yes. Man, go get her off. Get her off now. Are you referring to the coach who could be unwilling to discuss Caitlin Clark? Are you referring to the coach who feels let down by the All-Star selection? No, dude. Hey, dude, get her out of there. She calmly replied, "I don't really care if this is in the rules," as she leaned into the microphone during the live ESPN event. Boom! We're going to trade coaches. I'm not sure if this is a rule. I don't give a damn. But I believe we've previously spoken about trading coaches. Sandy Brondello, Faye's coach, will accompany her. Let's get it. Laughter. Cheryl Reeve was gone in an instant. In was Sandy Brondello. The television crew hurried to stay up to date. There was a gasp in the room. Even Reeve seems utterly caught off guard. Fans, on the other hand, went crazy. The coach swap, however, is the most intriguing part since Clark acquired Sandy Brondello as the coach of the New York Liberty, in exchange for Cheryl Reeve, who was or would be Kyr's team coach. Reeve is, of course, Kyr's Minnesota Lynx head coach. That makes sense? Then, the drama, however, will arise from Reeve's prior criticism on social media over Clark's level of attention in comparison to the other players in the league. In addition, he was the coach of the USA squad from which Caitlin Clark was infamously excluded. Social media was inundated with comments such as "Clark just fired her hater coach." It wasn't merely a show of might. It was an instant of unadulterated self-respect. Clark wasn't finished, though. Now that Reeve was gone, she focused on the draft. And her subsequent construction conveyed yet another unambiguous message. It was more than just an all-star squad. This super squad, which was founded on chemistry, loyalty, and championship DNA, did not allow haters. In the 2025 WNBA All-Star Draft, she selected her longtime fan and teammate from the Indiana Fever, Aaliyah Boston, with the first pick. Clark chooses the team. "I realize that everyone watching will be shocked, but I'm going with my teammate, Aaliyah Boston. We're going to put Aaliyah Boston on the board here. Baby dot to support Clark. Aaliyah Boston is coming here." Recall that in each of her first 3 All-Star selections, Aaliyah has been on the opposing team to Nfisa Collier. She is continuing that tradition this year by joining her colleague Caitlin Clark in each of her first 3 seasons in the league. She was selected as an All-Star. In the history of the league, she is the 9th player to be named an All-Star in each of their first 3 seasons. The dynamic trio of the Fever was then preserved when she seized Kelsey Mitchell. "I will return to you here at number 6. All right, Caitlin? Okay, I'm walking in Fee's footsteps. Kelsey Mitchell is going with me. Well done. I'm glad to have her on the team." Mitchell Kelsey is off the board. In order to begin the second round of our 2025 WNBA All-Star Draft, we are bringing 2 comrades here. Kelsey Mitchell has been selected to the All-Star team for the 3rd consecutive year. Among the 4 players who have scored at least 15 points per game during the last 6 seasons. Additionally, Caitlin, you have helped Kelsey make 39 three-pointers since the season began, which is the 3rd highest total of any scoring assist pair during that time. Then came Jackie Young, Gabby Williams, Sabrina Sabali, and, of course, A. Wilson. She stayed away from players who had criticized her. She stayed away from competitors. She avoided drama, and she chose the winners players who had previously played with her and publicly backed her. Fans began referring to it as Caitlin Clark's team vibes. If A. Wilson is down, there will definitely be a sense of team spirit. For example, it will truly be team feelings if AJ is down. Her trading the coach, however, was my favorite aspect of this whole situation. As if to say, you know what? I don't want to play for Sharif. Let me go and trade her coach. Let me go and trade the coach because it's a literal thing, Caitlin said, making sure to add that she didn't care if it was against the rules. Whatever you call it. This roster wasn't just stacked, it was symbolic. Clark was telling the league, if you've had my back, I've got yours. We're trading the coach. I'm not sure if it's against the rules, but I don't think they really seem to care. Others said no operations allowed. However, you are not welcome here if you attempted to undermine me. The coaches were intended to switch places, with Sandy Brondello of the New York Liberty coaching Nisa Collier and Cheryl Reeve of the Minnesota Lynx coaching Caitlin Clark. Cheryl re-escapes the bullet. Thank God I don't have to coach Kane Clark, man. Can't handle that. I would have to swallow a lot of pride. I can't do that. Fee. She most likely called in the fee. Fee. Please talk to Caitlin. I can't coach her. I can't do it. I can't do it. This book is coming out, and you know what they're going to say if I'm coaching Caitlin Clark and the books are out? Then Sandy Bell says, oh yeah. Oh God. Fee, please. This is good. I don't think they really seem to care. For example, I'd say Fee wanted to play for Cheryl Reeve, and I'd say Reeve didn't want to coach Caitlin Clark. Meanwhile, Cheryl Reeve had to watch it all happen. The coach who once disparaged Clark's fan base, dismissing her rise as overhyped, is publicly rejected by the very player she attempted to denigrate. Furthermore, Caitlin Clark was happy to play for Sandy Brundle instead of Cheryl Reeve, which surprised me. I believe it was like the exact game. To make matters worse, Reeve now has to coach the opposing team with players who have also been critical of Clark. It's poetic, brutal, and exactly what the fans have been waiting for. To put it plainly, this was Clark reversing the power dynamic. For far too long, she has taken the high road, remaining silent in the face of unrelenting criticism and disrespect from referees, media sneers, and envious teammates, but not this time. This time, Caitlin Clark used the power she earned, and she did it flawlessly. She didn't just draft a team. She sent a message to the entire WNBA. I'm done being nice. I'm done acting like I don't notice politics, and I'm definitely done letting people like Cheryl Reeve control my narrative. This is a new era where Clark sets the rules, and if you have an issue with that, you're not on the team. One thing is certain, this All-Star game just got personal. Only in the WNBA can this happen. Today, Dana Bonner quit on her team. People ask for trades all the time in the NBA, the NFL, and other leagues. It happens. The Fever front office runs a cover for her, but in some naive, egotistical way. She has the audacity to manipulate this situation, somehow throw it on the fans, and demand an apology. So Bonner's gone. Water Bonner's gone. Snake oil saleswoman, Stephanie White, we're in constant communication. Dana Bonner thought she could quit on Caitlin Clark and walk away clean. But what happened next sent shockwaves through the entire WNBA. Not a single team wanted her. Not even for free. Once hailed as a veteran leader, Bonner is now the league's most radioactive player, and the reason might be bigger than anyone anticipated. She's good. She works as a snake oil saleswoman on a daily basis. What really went on behind the scenes? And why is the WNBA quietly abandoning one of its own? The I don't want to come off the bench is not enough isn't a personal grievance. Well, I don't like my role like that. What really happened was that Dana Bonner's contract with the Indiana Fever was supposed to be a perfect fit. Bonner had the resume, all-star selections, playoff experience, and a reputation for professionalism, but from the beginning, something felt wrong. She started the first few games of the season, and the results were disastrous. Averaging just 2.6 points per game and shooting a miserable 2-for-12 from the field. Bonda was ruled out by the Fever for personal reasons, of course. She paired with Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's most anticipated rookie, to provide leadership, poise, and stability in a season full of pressure. All-Star was averaging, right? No, she was averaging According to multiple sources who spoke to Front Office Sports, the fit in Indiana was off from the start. Bonner was signed to be a championship-experienced anchor for the team's young core, and she was expected to be a starter. The Fever chose not to comment. Additionally, when head coach Stephanie White decided to insert Lexi Hull into the starting lineup, Bonner didn't take it well. Rather than accepting her new role, she vanished. She couldn't fit with the team's rotations. She's upset that Lexi Hull took her place. It was little blonde girl from next door. Well, Lexi Hull is a good basketball player, and I think she earned that spot, the insider said, and she's shooting very well from a three. She's an excellent three-point shooter this season. She's a sniper, and she hustles, gets rebounds, gets steals, and puts her heart out every single game. When she missed action for 5 straight games, she gave the evasive excuse that it had nothing to do with her health or family. It has to do with playing time. The Athletic broke the story of the Fever of Wave veteran Deanna Bonner. The team said that Indiana considered trade options for the 6-time All-Star, who had not played since June 10th for what the team referred to as, quote, personal reasons. Well, from what I could see when I looked up her stats last night, the personal reasons were that Bonner was unhappy about being benched and wanted to leave. She reportedly asked for a trade, but there was a problem. No one wanted her, not even on a discounted deal. Many people say, oh, but it's her salary. It's obvious that no teams want her, and if they are unable to find a trade partner, they need to find one with the entire league. Her pay. The Fever took the bold step of discarding Bonner completely because most teams have 30, 40, or 50K. On paper, this appeared to be a clean break, can experienced veteran moving on to find a better fit, but something darker was going on behind the scenes. The power play, considering that most players with salaries comparable to Bonner's will probably be off limits in a trade. A package could end up including more than one player to clear enough cap space. Look, in my opinion, it will be really a bad decision for the Atlanta Dream and the Mercury to even get involved. Family. When a WNBA player is waived, any team has 48 hours to claim her contract. Bonner's deal was worth $200,000, which is a decent sum of money. But for a contending team, it should have been obvious. The real truth emerged at that point. Bonner had been calling teams around the league to tell them not to claim her because she was trying to force a move to one destination, the Phoenix Mercury, which was a power play. However, a notice was sent to other teams telling them not to claim her because she prefers to sign with the Mercury. You are thriving right now. Oh my goodness, that is crazy. If they are going to mess up anything within those organizations, they are destroying their minds, man. I'm sure they would love to play together. But it's interesting because the Mercury are doing well this season, currently 3rd in the standings, and they would have to cut someone to make room for Dana Bonner. According to sources, Mercury's decision to sign Bonner is not finalized because it could upset a strong dynamic among Phoenix's core. Bonner wanted to control her exit, believing she could put the Fever behind her, keep her salary, and join the team of her choice without facing any repercussions. But the league wasn't having it. And not a single team, including Phoenix, stepped up. One insider put it best. She wanted to quit and still be in charge. A quitter. Nah, I've never been that, but when the time comes, let's just make sure the apologies are as loud as the disrespect in due time. DB, the only people who have been disrespected around here are the fans, and the only people who deserve an apology around here are the fans. The only person who must apologize for their behavior around here is you, DB. Caitlin Clark, who had looked up to Bonner during training camp and preseason, openly praised her veteran presence, hoping that she would be the calm voice and the experienced star who could help guide Clark through the most chaotic rookie season in WNBA history. She not only lost her reputation, but she also lost her leverage. The Mercury were hesitant to bring her in, fearing that her presence would ruin their young locker room chemistry. Other teams saw her as a walking red flag, a player willing to abandon her teammates the moment things got tough. But rather than stepping up when things got tough, Bonner vanished, leaving a locker room full of young players in a panic, leaving the media storm that surrounded Caitlin Clark every night, and quitting on the fans, the franchise, and most importantly, her responsibility. However, Bonner didn't just leave quietly. She issued a public statement thanking the Fever and wishing them success, feigning that her departure was a mutually agreed upon professional decision. But for Fever fans, it felt like being stabbed in the back and then receiving a Hallmark card from the person who did it. And the damage went beyond feelings. The Fever's front court was already fragile, with Damaris Dantas out, Natasha Howard trying her best to keep it together, and now Bonner, the player expected to anchor the inside, had vanished, leaving a massive hole both physically and emotionally. I'm not annoyed about her wanting to leave because she's a waste of $200K right now. Instead, I'm annoyed about her taking 6 games off. And when more questions are asked about why she's gone, people start to fear the worst, and it turns out that she just wants to get out of there. When the team was in freefall, Indiana made the most audacious move of all. They brought back Ari McDonald. As you may recall, Ari McDonald was signed on a hardship contract for the Indiana Fever during the absence of Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Now that she is back with the team, she has been a huge asset to the team. She came in right away, didn't know the play or the system, but she went out on the court and played with heart and speed. She seemed to be loved by all of the Indiana Fever players, and the fans embraced her right away. When they had to cut her to make room for Caitlin and Sophie to return, the fans were devastated. But that 10-day grace period is now over, and Ari is back with the Fever. Earlier in the season, McDonald was on a hardship contract, and she made the most of every second on the court, averaging 11 points, 3 assists, and 2 steals in just 3 games. She played with a fire and hunger that the fan base immediately embraced. She was everything Bonner wasn't, and while Bonner pouted and manipulated, McDonald hustled. The Fever saw the difference right away when Bonner sought to leave, and McDonald fought for the opportunity. General manager Amber Cox stated that McDonald was a perfect fit for the style and mentality we're developing. We had the chance to bring Ari back, but we were unsure of what she brought to the table during the 10-day wait period. I think she had 2 or 3 charges in her first game with us, so she obviously brought energy and a strong defensive game. I think she had 2 or 3 charges in her first game with us, so she brought a lot of speed to her offensive play. I love that she spent time preparing for the hardship and that she looked at film. It felt like a really good fit for her, and we're excited to bring her back into the mix. But keep in mind, that was a direct shot at Bonner. Indiana wasn't just replacing a player. They were sending a message to the entire league. If you can't handle the heat, don't bother walking into the kitchen. You know, we had to release her post-hardship, or you after the hardship, and she had other opportunities, I'm sure, to go other places, but she really wanted to be here. This wasn't just a personnel swap. It was a cultural shift. One player chose pride, the other chose purpose. What happened with Dana Bonner wasn't just one player leaving her team. It was the most visible indication yet of a widening rift within the WNBA. For Clark, McDonald's return was a relief. At last, someone who respected the moment. Someone who understood what it meant to play on a team that mattered. McDonald didn't feel threatened by Clark's notoriety. Rather, she welcomed it. The old guard, the veterans who built the league in silence, and a new wave led by Caitlin Clark, who brought a tidal wave of attention, pressure, and outside fans. According to several insiders, Bonner couldn't keep up with the shift that was going on around her. BDB. Come on, man. That's tough. That's tough. That hurt, man. That hurt. And you know, she was receiving a lot of vitriol, man. Sitting here defending her because of the fact that the veterans were no longer the main characters hit hard. And Bonner, who had previously been viewed as a mentor, began acting like a rival. She reportedly sided with players who had publicly disapproved of Clark, such as Brittany Greer, who allegedly used a slur after fouling out against her. I'm thinking something's going on with her family when that was all it was. Sick, man. A rookie with a spotlight bigger than the entire league. Sold out arenas, constant ESPN coverage. However, she took advantage of that show by signing with Indiana, knowing that Clark would attract the cameras. Posing for media day photos, doing interviews, playing in front of sold-out crowds, and then leaving the moment she lost control of the narrative. To make matters worse, there are rumors that Bonner may have taken the money and attention from Indiana with the full knowledge that she intended to force her way back to Phoenix once the Mercury had enough cap space. If this is the case, it is not only unprofessional, but downright manipulative. If the Fever were to waive Bonner, teams would have 48 hours to claim her off waivers. No team does. She will become an unrestricted free agent. The current veteran minimum in the WNBA is $78,831. So the Mercury could sign her without making any roster cuts if she might be heading to the Mercury. This is weird. I saw some people say, man, she's just coming to the Indiana Fever, just to ruin their season, and she really wants to be with Alyssa Thomas. The Fever were gonna waive her, but she cleared the 48-hour waiver deadline. I thought, nah, that can't be it. When I saw that, can't be that. But now, family. You've gotten to the point where she flatly refuses to play and doesn't want to play at all. The plan backfired. And Bonner lost more than $120,000 by waiving her contract and signing a minimum deal with Phoenix. Her peers remained silent, and the silence was louder than any press release, but the damage may already be done. Bonner's stunt sets a terrifying precedent for the WNBA. If a player can engineer her way to a preferred city, disappear from the team, and then fake a fit issue without consequence, what's stopping others from doing the same? Especially in a league where contracts are the only thing keeping small market teams competitive at a time when the WNBA is finally finding its footing. This kind of chaos sends the worst possible message. The league can't control its own stars. The fans noticed. The media noticed, and you can be sure every general manager in the league noticed. Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA as a once-in-a-generation opportunity, bringing millions of new eyes to a sport that had been begging for relevance. They don't have the flash or location of the New York Liberty. Her legacy is now irrevocably tarnished. Instead of being remembered as the veteran who assisted in mentoring a star, Bonner will be remembered as the one who bailed, the one who betrayed a team, and the one who was shunned by the entire league. Bonner had the opportunity to help lead that movement, but instead she attempted to sabotage it. Additionally, the WNBA hopes to endure the following phase of its development. It must make a decision. Will it stand up for the future or defend the past?